Hey everyone, Justin Stivers, owner of the probate law firm, talking about a topic that unfortunately we see all too often, and that is what happens when siblings disagree over what's going to happen with the inheritance. Unfortunately, and I've talked about this before, but I know it keeps coming up more and more. We see where siblings from a previous marriage are going to receive something, and the siblings from a current marriage are also going to receive something. So let me give you a basic, a simple example, common example that we see. Husband's married. He has, two kids from a previous marriage. They're adult children. They're maybe a little bit older now. They're in their 30s and their 40s. Now he remarries, and he has new children with this new spouse. Okay, if they have kids together, so if him and his new spouse have new kids together, those kids are going to receive most likely something from his estate, as are the children from the previous marriage. And where this can get a little bit tricky is, what about the new spouse? What is the new spouse going to inherit? Again, really tricky. If the husband does not put anything in writing, so he doesn't leave a will, and let's say he's married and he doesn't name his spouse in that will, doesn't leave everything to her, well, now potentially she's going to inherit up to, depending on the asset, depending on a bunch of different factors, but let's say up to 50% of the estate. And his children from a previous marriage are also going to receive, again, up to 50%. And those new kids with the spouse might also get something as well. So you've got a very complicated situation, even more complicated if they really don't get along. But what about if he did put something in the will? And this is where we see, people trying to do it themselves, where maybe he gets married with the spouse, and the spouse says, she's got her own kids, and she's like, no, I want everything. I've got my own kids. I'll leave everything to my kids. You leave everything to your kids, and that's how we're going to do it. But they don't take the proper steps. And they might even do a will, and it says, I'm leaving everything to my kids, and she does a will, says I'm leaving everything to my kids, and they think everything is fine. But unfortunately in Florida, you can't essentially disinherit your spouse. Your spouse, even if you do a will, so even if you've got a will and everybody's on board with it, she signs it, he signs it, everybody's on board with it, you can't say, I don't want my spouse to get anything, I want everything to go to my kids, unless there's some sort of prenuptial agreement, postnuptial agreement. And this I see all the time, and it leads to a lot of fighting, because now the kids from the first marriage or from the first spouse, they're upset. They already didn't get along with their step-parents, stepmom, stepdad, and now the step-parents, upset, and it just turns into a mess. So again, if you've got this situation, right? If it's already happened, it's too late. You're going through it. It is what it is. But if you've remarried, if you're married to somebody who maybe has kids from a previous marriage, or you've got kids from a previous marriage, your planning is going to be a little bit different. And this is probably not something you're going to want to try to do it yourself, just because there's so many different things that you might not know. And again, like I said, I see all the time where someone does a will and both spouses are in agreement. But in Florida, for the most part, you can't do that. The children, the spouse is still going to inherit something. So, we can help you with this, have a conversation, walk you through the process, explore different options, but definitely something to be aware of, where, I know a lot of people, get married for a second time and have kids from a previous marriage. So if that's your situation, just go to our website, probatefirm.com. We have a lot of information, talking about this topic, or give us a call, 305-456-3255, and be happy to set up a time to speak with you and discuss all the options available. So talk to y'all soon.